Miss Ladida here, and I apologize if the settings like this video is a little bit grainy. I'm using my laptop. I apologize about that, but I wanted to take time today to come on here and let y'all know what I have been working on and why I haven't been uploading regularly like I used to. Where have I been? What have I been doing? Well, here it is. Because I have been writing a book. Yes, it's true. I wrote a book, and it is halfway through the final editing phase right now. And it will be coming out hopefully in a couple of months, maybe sooner. I am at the mercy of my editor right now, so there's that. I also have an illustrator who is working on the cover for me. This book will be self-published. I will self-publish this book through Amazon. So if you're interested in buying this book when it comes out, you'll be able to order it from Amazon. And then hopefully I can get some small indie bookstores to take it on and sell it in their bookstores as well. But let's get to the book. So the name of the book is called Ghosts of Whitehorse Manor, and it takes place in 1955. Let me tell you about the synopsis of the book. So it's 1955. Dr. Vincent Lauren receives an invitation to a dinner party at Whitehorse Manor on Halloween night. He soon discovers that he and the other guests are being blackmailed by Mr. Anonymous. As they uncover the blackmailer's identity, they reveal a sinister secret they all share, a secret rooted in their ancestors' past. They expose a satanic cult, fraudulent psychics, and ghosts. So, if you are a fan of mystery, it's in there. If you're a fan of suspense, it's in there. A fan of horror, it's in there. A fan of the paranormal, it's in there. Not to mention comedy. Yes, there is comedy in this book as well. I like to think of this book as Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, and Scooby-Doo. But an adult version. That's how I like to think of it. And this adventure has been so much fun. I have learned so much about the writing process. And I got to tell you, there were times that I got extremely overwhelmed. And I was like, what am I doing? Am I going to be able to do this? But you know what? Deep down in my heart and in my head, I kept saying, you're going to do this because this is your dream. And you're going to follow through with your dream. And that's what kept me going. This has been my dream since I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, I would sit and write poetry and little short stories. And I wish I would have kept those to this day. But unfortunately, I didn't. But I wish I did. And I wish that I would have done this sooner. But you know what? Life happens. And I believe everything happens when it happens for a reason. And I believe this is the time. This is the time for me to write this book, get it published, so on and so forth. Again, the book is called Ghosts of Whitehorse Manor. And what made me want to write this book? Well, it's funny. One day I was sitting down and I was watching the movie Clue. And the thought then occurred to me, like, oh my God, I should go ahead and write that book that I've been wanting to write and make some of it like Clue. Not all of it, but some of it like Clue, because it's one of my favorite movies. And so then after watching Clue, I started watching House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price, the original House on Haunted Hill. There was a remake. This one is the original with Vincent Price. And so I started watching it and I'm like, oh my God, and all these thoughts, like the gears started turning for me at that point. And I was like, I could totally make a book and take the movie Clue and take this movie, put them together, throw in the ideas that I have with the characters that I have, and turn it into a book. And so that's what I did. And, I've always loved reading. I've always been a huge fan of reading. Horror is my number one go-to, but I will read just about anything from sci-fi, self-help, whatever. I'll read just about anything. But horror has always been my go-to, my favorite genre. And so I thought, how could I put a spin on it and turn this into a horror book? And I'm not going to tell you how, because I don't want to give anything away. So you'll just have to read the book and find out for yourself. But anyway, so that is where it all came to me. And I've always heard authors say, well, I started to write the book, but then the book took over and it wrote itself. And I never understood what that meant. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But guess what? That is what happened to me. I sat down and I had an outline for the book. And I thought, okay, this is what's going to happen in each chapter. Well, it didn't turn out that way. Not at all. And I know that a lot of times everybody says you should always have an outline for each chapter, what you want for each chapter, and follow your outline. It doesn't have to be, exactly to what you put, but so you get an idea. So I tried that too, and it kind of helped, but not 100%, but it kept me on track because once I started writing, all these other ideas just started popping into my head. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to find a way to fit this in there and that in there and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it just got into chaos. And so finally, it all came together in the editing process. And so a good friend of mine said to me, he knew that I am writing this book. And he said to me, well, I've been thinking about writing a book, but how do I get started? And so I gave him some, I said, hey, you know what? Just sit down, brainstorm some ideas, get you a little notebook and a pen or a crayon and start writing down what comes to your mind. Brainstorm. It doesn't have to be in order. Just throw out ideas. What do I want to put here in this book? What do I want to put that in there? Just brainstorm ideas. Then, once you've done all that, then put it together like a puzzle. You could even use Post-it notes. That was recommended to me in a writer's workshop that I did recently, where you take your Post-it notes, you put your idea on a Post-it note, you put it on a wall, and every idea you get, you just start putting them on Post-it notes on the wall. Then you start putting them together in an order, and that will help you create your outline. And that's what I told him to do. That way you're not getting overwhelmed. However, that doesn't always work. It doesn't work for me. When I start writing, my story writes itself. The ideas just start coming to me and I write them out, whether I had pre-thought of them or not. And 9 times out of 10, I didn't. It's the weirdest thing. The book will write itself. Then once you've put everything in it that you think that you want to do and you pass it on to the editor, let the editor sort that out. Let the editor sort it out. At least that's what I did. So then it'll flow together better and all of that. And you're not so overwhelmed. And so that's what I have done with this book. This book has taken me 2 years. Yes. It is a process. I know a lot of writers that can push books out within like certain amount of months and they're done with a book. That's good for them. But for me, this was my first one. And so that's why it took a long time because I changed a lot of things. And halfway through, oh my gosh, this book has gone through a lot of obstacles, okay? A lot of adventures. Halfway through, my software that I was using, it just up and quit on me. I couldn't get it to work anymore. I was getting nowhere with it. I had to get new software. Well, that's not such an easy thing to convert files. This book has 30 chapters, and I was 15 chapters in. I was halfway through. So I had to go through all that I had already written and figure out how to convert it to this new software that I had. And that wasn't an easy task. That took time. Things got all jumbled up and messed up in the process with it. I had to correct all of that. Some things even got lost. I had to rewrite all of that. Thank God I had taken notes and I could go back and refer to those notes. That helped tremendously. So then there was that. And then I got a new computer. I got a new laptop. So I had to convert all of my files onto the new laptop. Yeah. And life happens on top of that, you know? So yes, this book has taken me 2 years to do. But like I said, we are halfway through the final editing phase. My illustrator is still working on the cover, so I don't even have a cover to show you yet. But anyway, so like I said, just to repeat a little bit, once this book is done, it will be published through Amazon and you'll be able to purchase it through Amazon. I can't even give you a price yet, but it will be available on every format: hardcover, paperback, Kindle, also audiobook. I am going to have it be read on audiobook if you would prefer to listen to it and have the story told to you instead of reading it. And I am going to be very selective on who I get to read it, because the way that this story reads and unfolds, it kind of is like it's being told to you. So I'm going to be very particular in who I choose to do my audiobook. But anyway, so that is where I have been all this time. I have been working on this book, and not just this book, you guys. So after I finished writing White Horse and I handed it off to the editor, I sat down and wrote another book, and then another. So I have 2 or 3 more books that are just waiting to be edited. So this is not just my first one and only book. There's several other ones that are just waiting to be edited. And also, I should mention that this book, Ghosts of White Horse Manor, is going to be a series. So this story that is in this book, it will roll over into a second book. And possibly a third, right? Like a series isn't limited as long as it's just more than one book, and it will be. Because I, in this book, leave you on a cliffhanger. I really do. I leave you hanging. And there's a reason for that. I personally love books that do that. It excites me. It makes me want to read the next one. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait until the next one comes out. I've got to have it. How exciting, and then you go over the different scenarios in your mind, like, oh my God, is it this person that is going to appear, or is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Like, you don't know. And that's what makes it so awesome and mysterious and suspenseful. So anyway, as some other little morsels and tidbits about the book is also each character in the book is based off of an old Hollywood character that I adore. And by old Hollywood, we're talking 1950s and even some pre-1950s here. We're talking some of the characters, the main character, well, even not even some of the main characters even, are based off of actors of that time period. Vincent Price, Elizabeth Taylor, Humphrey Bogart, Agnes Moorehead, Audrey Hepburn, Alfred Hitchcock, and that's just to name a few. And one of the fun things about this book, though, is if you're reading it or you're listening to it, I want you to try and figure out, okay, who was this character based on? What actor or actress from that time period is that character based on? Because I don't use their names, so you don't know. All you have to go by is their demeanor, how they respond to things, and how they look. That's it. That's all you have. You don't know who is who in my little mind, but that's all part of the fun. And I love authors that do that. I love those kinds of stories where they just throw in little tidbits of things here and there. Also, there's different scenarios that could have happened in old TV series of that time as well. So, or TV shows that are about that time period. So there's some little nods and little tidbits here and there of things, and you're probably going to read it. And if you're my age, which I will not discuss, or older, you're going to say, oh my God, I totally remember that. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, this is in this book. It may take you back to your childhood. It may trigger a memory, or you're going to be like, what? I don't know any of this. Like, what is this? This makes no sense to me. It's old crap. I don't care. And that's fine. I understand not everyone's going to love this book. It's not for everybody. That's not a thing, okay? You can't be an author and be everybody's cup of tea. You can't be anything and be everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that. And I'm fine with that. That's your opinion. But anyway, so moving on. So look for little sudden tidbits here, little nods to certain TV shows and characters from those TV shows. They'll just have different names. What else can I tell you about it? I really don't think there's anything more that I want to share at this point, because I don't want to give away too much of the story. I want you to experience the story for yourself. And like I said, it will be coming out hopefully in a couple of months at the latest, because we are halfway through the final edits. And once again, the book is called Ghosts of White Horse Manor. And once it is available, I will totally let you guys know. I will totally come on here and let you guys know when it's available, like all the details. I'll probably have a link by that time too, where you can just click the link and order it if you want to. And I will do that for every single one of my books. Once they're, I will come on here and I will talk about them, and I will let you know what stage the books are in. Are they in first round edits? Are they in final edits? And that brings me to another thing. So final edits, this is the 4th editing process that this book has gone through. 4. Because like I said, when I first was writing it and I had to switch all the software and everything, all of that had to be changed. We did a read through, and it was 10 tons of things needed to be changed. Then the second time we read through, and I thought, you know what? I want to remove this chapter. I want to remove this character even. And so I did all of that. Then it had to be read through a third time once I made all of those changes, and we found some things that needed changed. And so I changed those, and now we're in stage 4 of editing, which is final, which is we focus on one chapter, it gets complete, it's done, we move on to the next, so on and so forth. It's done. The next step for me is to get this book copyrighted. And then once it's copyrighted, it will be published to Amazon. So yes, and things are flowing. They're moving. They're getting there. And I will let you know when it's closer to time for publishing. I will be more present on here and walk you through everything so that you know what steps are coming and when to expect this book, what the book is about, and what have you. So that's going to do it for this video, and that's where I've been. This has been my big project that I have been talking about, and why I have not been present is because I've been writing, and I've been doing these workshops for writers, and I've been meeting authors and trying to get my name out there. So that's where I've been. That's what's going on. So I am looking so forward to publishing this book, and I hope that when this book comes out, I hope that you will give it a chance, that you will give it a read, and I hope that you will like it. So I am going to end it here on that note. So I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope that you are healthy and that you are happy, and keep smiling, and keep following your dream. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I miss La-di-da, but you know what? I'm not this channel's name is going to change pretty soon. Pretty soon. This will not be the Miss La Di Da channel anymore. I'll just say that.